so excited to be here with Dan Levy.
Yes.
Not Dan Levy. Dan Levy. We'll get to that. Dan Levy, who, like, writer, director, producer, actor extraordinaire, has a new show called Indebted. It premieres February 6th on NBC. Yes, actor. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Well,
but,
I'm definitely not a director. I mean,
yes. This is me. I'm like Jewish mothering you already.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a director also.
I did everything. I've done everything you could possibly do.
I mean, he's a brain surgeon also. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So first of all, let's just talk about it. Indebted is I just want to start with the cast because it's insane.
Yes.
Fran Drescher, Steven
Iconic.
Weber,
Iconic.
Abby Elliott, Adam Pally, Jesse Hodges. It's about a couple and the husband's parents basically lose their money and move in with them.
Exactly.
They've got no dough. Tell me first how this idea came to you and how the hell did you get that cast?
Well, basically the show is loosely based on my life and my family. And, about a year or so ago, I was talking to my parents about their sort of like plan for the future, and there wasn't really a clear path. And I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? And my mom's like, I'll move to California. And I'm like, no, that's going to be problematic and a predicament. So we started like figuring things out. And then as I was doing this, I realized there was so many other baby boomers who sort of have no plan. It's just like, it was just that generation that sort of like made money, lived their life, had fun, but didn't think about the future, you know?
Yes.
And it's just the reality. And a lot of them, and it's the millennials who are now like really focused on saving and, more nervous and paranoid and all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of realized, this could be kind of an interesting show if this, fully happened to me based on these sort of dynamics with a mother who has no boundaries and is always in my house, even though she lives in Connecticut and I live in LA. So I started developing the idea and took it to Doug Robinson, who I worked with for years on the Goldbergs,
yeah.
And we sold to NBC, and then I wrote the pilot, and then it got picked up. And then when I was pitching the show, I said, think Fran Drescher. So we got to Fran Drescher, and she was amazing, and she really like embodies this person, and it's took it to a note. Like the cast elevated the show to a whole level that I didn't even imagine.
So tell me about your first meeting with Fran.
My first meeting with Fran was amazing. We sat. We had a bunch of meetings. One of our meetings was after a session with Adam, and we sat down, and she asked for organic everything, and she needed everything in glass. And she just started talking to me, and she's like, so what's your deal? And she's like, you're gay, you're straight, you're married, tell me everything. And I just kind of told her my whole life, and she was like, I love it. And then she told me she was going to sell a painting, and told me about how she lives in New York and Malibu, and how she's excited to work on the Nanny musical. And I really was interested in asking her all about the Nanny, because you forget, like, nowadays shows are like 6 episodes long.
Yes.
Goldberg's and some of the CBS multicams, they do 22 episodes. Goldberg's is 24. But most shows don't do that many episodes.
That's such a rarity.
Such a rarity. Yeah. But she talks about the Nanny. They did like 28 episodes a season. It was insane. So just like hearing about those stories were incredible. And she's a super warm person. So it was real, and she's so funny. So it was a very fun meeting. And then we had a hilarious then when after the show got picked up, she's like, come to Malibu, let's go to Nobu. And I was like, all right. So we go to Nobu. It's like the biggest table you've ever seen, like in the center, like looking at the ocean. And she was like, let me order. And I was like, okay. And then she opened the menu, and then it's like she never saw sushi before. And she was like, I got you. Okay. Do you have the crunchies? And then we put that in a script because she said you have the crunchies so many times I was dying. She's just so funny.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. She's like, and what is this raw fish?
No, she's like, and what part of the ocean is it from?
Oh my God, I love her so much. I'm talking to Dan Levy, whose show Indebted premieres February 6th on NBC at 9:30. 9:30 on Thursdays. You're like prime time. Prime
Crazy.
slot. Prime
After Will
slot.
and Grace. Can't
I
believe
know.
it.
Jeez. Oh my God. Is that your like pinch me moment?
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's such a good one. There were moments where the show really reminded me, like a little bit of like Raymond. There's definitely like a Raymond vibe to it.
Yes.
You know, I saw a lot Goldberg's. There was a lot of different things. I was curious, what are the sitcoms that you think are like the gold standard that you think about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for this show, especially like Raymond, I remember pitching it like it's like everybody loves Raymond with Yeezys. You know, it's like that family dynamic, those close family thing, and Raymond, big inspiration. You know, obviously Friends, love Friends. And
I actually hate Friends.
You hate Friends?
I do.
Okay.
Wait, did you write on it?
No.
Okay. You're like, no, I'm 1,000 years younger than that.
And also, everyone who like wrote on Friends like owns islands.
That's true. That's true.
They're not making shows anymore. But yeah, I liked Friends, and I mean, obviously Seinfeld was like, you know, the best show for me ever. But yeah, so that was sort of you know, but really Raymond with the family dynamics. This is a family show, you know.
Yeah, and definitely the dynamic. Okay, so how much? I mean, obviously you worked on the Goldbergs, so I think you're probably well versed in drawing from painful childhood things and family dynamics and things like that. How much did you kind of sit down and say, all right, this is like, I need this story to happen from my life, and this story to happen from my life, and this happened with my parents, and this happened with my sibling, and
yeah, I mean, all of it was from my life. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't have like a painful childhood. Like I feel like, you know, as the first. I didn't. I had I was the firstborn, where Adam was the baby.
Yes.
So as the firstborn, my mom was like, "You are God."
Yes.
So it was that sort of childhood. But the stories are really pulled from my life with my relationship, you know, with my wife. So, and then how the parents affect that stuff, you know. So, you know, the fact that, you know, Steven plays an as-seen on TV salesman, like that's my dad. That's what my dad has done forever.
Really?
You know? Yeah, exactly. But you know, we do the episode about the mental load and, you know, gossiping. I don't know if you saw that episode, but that episode is like that's what I do with my parents. We talk about everyone all the time.
Yes.
You know, we love it. It's like my favorite thing to do is to gossip. So I knew right away, I was like, I definitely want to do a show about gossip because it's a big part of this family and why this family is so specific. And then the Gifted episode also was based on more of like that didn't happen to me as, you know.
The Gifted episode is where their son, let's just say, like is asked to be in a gifted program, and then the you know, Adam Pally's character, based on you, finds out that you know he too was in a gifted program as a kid, and how he got there.
Yeah, they gave him a little push.
Little advantage.
Yeah, a little advantage by lying about his age. So in this episode, Adam Pally finds out he's actually 41 years old, and his whole life is a lie.
And his name is Dav.
His name is
not
Dav.
Dave.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the whole episode, but
you're
that's such a funny moment.
It's a funny episode written by Dan Mintz, who's one of my oldest friends and a hilarious guy. And so, you know, that episode though was more came from the fact that, like, you know, I have a 7-year-old, and we're always like, we're always wondering like, oh, he did really well in this. Like my wife texted me yesterday. She's like, look at his gingerbread story. I think he's gifted. And like you try to act cool, but really,
I know,
you're so excited.
I know.
And that was what was funny. I remember one time we got the note. One note was like, you know, why are they getting so excited about their kid possibly being gifted if they don't know yet? I'm like, guys, if I find out my kid's gotten gifted, I'm like, yeah, like Abby, kick over in a chair, like, yeah, he's gifted.
Yeah.
So that became a really funny episode and a real, I think, relatable thing because everyone's trying to get into these different schools and all this kind of stuff.
What did your mom think of the show? I assume you've shown her.
No, they love it.
Okay.
They love it. They're so.
Did you get notes?
No, they think the only note was originally I was going to do the Goldbergs thing and have everyone's real names. And my mom was like, no, I don't want any paparazzi at my doorstep. So I was like, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get paparazzi at your doorstep, but that was fair. So I changed names from Linda and Elliot to Debbie and Stu.
Okay. That is perfect. How much do you plan in advance? Like, when you are coming up with a show, you get a pickup. How many episodes?
13.
13, which is kind of perfect, the dream.
Yes.
Do you sort of think about a show as, this is what I'm going to do in my first 13, and then in season 2, you know, I'm going to do this, and then season 3, I'm going to do this? Or are you like more of a kind of in the moment sort of writer?
Sort of in the moment, and I felt like, you know, with this specific show and, you know, this format, like I kind of wanted to keep things like evergreen, you know, and obviously the family's going to, you know, go through things and things are going to change. But for the most part, I kind of really wanted to start back each episode. You know, we're back at 1. Now what's going on today? Okay, now she wants to be a life coach. Okay, let's Adam will deal with this. Okay, now they're gossiping. Okay, you know, and sort of like follow following that thread. I think season 2, I would like to have Jesse get into a relationship, and that would be a fun thread to follow. We had a really funny episode with Kate Berlant, which is our finale.
Oh, I love Kate Berlant.
She's amazing.
She's the funniest.
Yeah, we do an episode that takes place at a Shiva with Kate Berlant, Richard Kind, and me playing comedian Dan, cousin Dan. It's a ridiculous episode. Richard Kind's in 3 episodes.
I love Richard Kind so much.
Yeah, Richard Kind is. I mean, we do a show in front of a live audience. I mean, talk about like a killer.
Yeah.
Like he comes in, he's everything I love, and he just screams his jokes. The audience, we had to like take out applause breaks because we only have 21 minutes. So he'll enter a room and be like, "Hello, family," and be like, "Ah!" It's like everything is terrible. Like every time we enter a scene, he's like, "Ah, Parky was terrible. Don't try to parallel Park while texting," or whatever his jokes were. He was just amazing and so nice. And to have him screaming with Fran Drescher in a scene, I mean, it was everything. It was everything.
Yes. Oh well, it's such a good show. Indebted. It's like I watch it. There's such a smile on my face seeing all these people. There's so much talent in one room. It's like I said, Fran Drescher, Abby Elliott, Jesse Hodges, Adam Pally, and Steven Weber. It's an insane cast. It's really, really good. Indebted premieres February 6th on NBC. Creator Dan Levy, maybe a director someday.
Someday.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for joining me.